Speaker, there is a buzz in the air. New Zealanders are excited. They see an opportunity for themselves and they are simply saying, thank you, Bill English. Thank you, John Key. This is a budget that delivers to New Zealanders. This delivers hope, it delivers opportunity, and it makes us see a future that is full of opportunity for our children, for our young people, and for those that are there now. Mr. Speaker, it is exciting. It is really exciting to see a country that can move ahead, that can develop those sorts of opportunities. And I say simply, economic growth matters, and it matters most to those that I work with in the social sector. It matters most to those that are at the vulnerable and the hard end of some of those choices that are made. And I am so proud to stand up and say that it is the only way we can lift incomes, create opportunity, create permanent jobs, and build the kind of country that we not only need, but those young people simply deserve. So we've steered our way through that worst recession. We've steered our way through some of the toughest times. And the social services have held on to that money, have made sure there's been opportunity for those people that needed it, have actually been able to shorten times, waiting times within work and income, stand up and create opportunities for our young people, ranging from LSV to Job Ops to Community Max. And Mr. Speaker, this is a great time to talk about Job Ops and exactly what that is doing for our young people. So we've stepped up. We've got at the weekend when I read the papers that come to me, Mr. Speaker, 5,649 jobs via Job Ops at the moment. Yeah? More than 5,000 of them filled. Those are young people throughout New Zealand in jobs at the moment. 86% of those, 86, let me make sure I've got that one right. Yes, I have 86% of young people who had finished their Job Ops have stayed off a benefit. That's pretty remarkable. That is pretty remarkable. So this government is pumping more in. We're saying let's put up another 6,000 places. And Mr. Speaker, I'm optimistic that those places will actually be picked up really quickly by our business community. We feel energy in the air. We feel that bit of optimism with that business community. They are excited to see that taxation coming down from 30 to 28% for them. And I think they're ready to step up and say, with a bit of a hand from government, they're going to take young people on and give them an employment opportunity. So 6,000 more places for Job Ops in this budget, 26.7 million extra going there. Mr. Speaker, I am responsible for those that are on benefits, the superannuation that we pay out, and it's been a key focus on how we make sure that they are fairly treated through these taxation changes. So what we've actually stepped up and have in this package is actually $159 million more going into that compensation, $2.2 billion going in over the next 4 years. So they will cover those main benefits. So they'll cover the obvious ones that we can think of as far as unemployment benefit, DPB, sickness benefit and invalids benefit. But it also goes out to student allowance, veterans pensions, working for families. So it provides payment equivalent to just over that 2%, as you would have seen. And to give you a bit of an example, $9.79 in GST compensation for someone on the DPB. So can I give a bit of an example right now, because this is good news for those, and you hear about how you can actually help those that are on the benefits at the moment and how this might create real opportunities for them. But someone on the DPB, for example, who looks at working those 15 hours a week, well, Mr. Speaker, they're already better off because we're obviously raising that abatement this year. So at the moment they earn $80 and then after that they're taxed quite highly, really. So we're raising that to $100. And that wasn't good enough for this government because we really do want to create opportunities and the right incentives for people to be getting into part-time work. So we raised the second abatement level. So they're already better off substantially. They can earn $100 before their benefit is even abated. Then they'll get an extra $5.62 a week from the GST compensation. And that's on top of an extra, that $14 a week that they're getting from the abatement. And then someone, for example, who's working for 15 hours a week on 20 hours at $20 an hour will pay $10.50 a week less because of personal taxes. And this is not one that's been picked up widely yet, but that secondary tax level coming down is really exciting and a great opportunity for people to actually see the benefits of the abatements, to see the benefits of the secondary tax rate coming down so significantly from 21 to 17.5%, and then to actually see how they can actually get that bit more money in their own pocket. So it's good news, good news, good news again, Mr. Speaker, for those that actually need it most. And particularly, I always seem to go on the side of those that are on the DPB with their children, and they're the ones that I personally just want to see supported the most. We have seen the single biggest spend on teen parents in a budget ever. Yeah? We have seen the single biggest spend on teen parents in a budget ever. So this government started the teen parent units in 1997, something I've always been particularly proud of, to be a member of the National Party and know that we recognise that need for teen parents. But this one here, we're seeing $14.9 million on teen parents. This budget is spending $14.9 million on teen parents. So that's going to boost teen parent coordinators from 9 to 19, get them, Mr. Speaker, into a role where they're using that more intensive management around what those needs are. So coordinating in what those teen parents most need, helping them stay in work and education, ensure they're getting antenatal care at that very beginning of the process, and budgeting and parenting advice and everything else. So they're coordinating that together. We've seen them working in some places. We reckon we can take it a step further. We're also bringing in support and financial support to give the voluntary support around those advisors so that they can actually be making sure that there is that going around it. Supported homes, yeah? And this is a biggie. So we'll all know the stories, and I know that I know the opposite side of the house will be hearing them as well, as you go around and see those teen parents that are struggling to the point where they're probably getting pretty close to notifications to Child, Youth and Family, quite frankly, and some pretty awful stuff. So where do they go for help? Where do they get that sort of live-in assistance that they not only need but they deserve in a country like New Zealand that will step up next to them? Supported homes with trained staff available 24/7 so they can live in. And I think that is a most worthy spend. Can see, if we want to have the economic argument, the benefits as far as those children, how they developed and how hopefully they do stay out of the system, I think is pretty. And then we've got that group that are always overlooked, our teen fathers. We focus, I don't even think we focus that well on the teen mothers, to be honest. I'd like to see a bit more going there, but we actually don't focus on the teen fathers at all. And there are some good programs around the country. We can coordinate that better. We can give them the sort of resources they need, get some best practice, and I'm particularly proud of what we're doing there. Mr. Speaker, what we're also doing is we're increasing the number of child, youth and family social workers into hospitals. So when you talk about what's happening for our most vulnerable, step up, stand up and listen up well. We're talking about support for teen parents. We're talking about compensation for those on benefits. We're talking about more child, youth and family social workers in hospitals. One baby under 2 years old is hospitalised in this country at the hands of someone that should be caring and looking after them every 5 days. We have to do better than that. And the re-abuse, quite frankly, is far too high. So there needs to be better coordination of what happens to those children when they get into hospital, how we look at what we can do differently. That's $6.6 million coming out. It will cover each DHB in this country. And again, I'm proud to stand up and advocate for that. I think it's a good use of spend, and I'm proud to say that that is part of this budget. But then there is the Pathways to Partnership. And no, you don't hear a roar from the opposition, because they know that we're standing up and giving more power back to communities than they have ever had before. Local solutions simply cannot be driven from Wellington and should not be driven from the officials here. They should be driven locally. Wasn't enough to take just the Pathways to Partnership money and put that back into our communities. We've taken the family and community services spend of $110 million that's already there and have added that to the community response model and have said, actually, we do trust communities to know what's best. We will put it in the hands of local community people, some retired business people, put some local officials on it. Let's really look at this closely as to, is what we're doing now working so well? Look at the current government spend, add in $90.5 million, $90.5 million into that over 4 years to make sure that we are actually identifying where they can collaborate better, where that training and supervision is going for those fantastic people that work at the grassroots and on the ground level, and step up and give them. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that supports the people of New Zealand and those that need it most, and I am incredibly proud to stand up and advocate for it.